Welcome to this lesson on justice. It is a lesson in the series Our Faith. My name is David.
And my name is Melanie. We will be your narrators for this lesson. You may wonder, what is meant by justice? What role does it play in our society? How does the Bible guide us? In this lesson, we will explore what is justice. We'll look at justice in our society, the source of justice, how we decide what the laws are, and the meaning this has in our life. Then, we'll summarize what we've learned. Let's start with, what is justice?
In the previous lessons on virtues, we saw that justice is one of the virtues. We recall the Bible verses, one of the Beatitudes. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Let's see some definitions of justice. Justice in Latin is justus, meaning upright. Classically, it is the concept of each person receiving what is due. Biblically, the emphasis is on right relationships and person receiving a share of the resources of the society. Concern is expressed for the oppressed and their right treatment. Justice is related to love and grace.
Saint Isaac the Syrian defines mercy and justice as follows. Mercy is opposed to justice. Justice is equality of the even scale, for it gives to each as he deserves. Mercy, on the other hand, is a sorrow and pity stirred up by goodness, and it compassionately inclines a man in the direction of all. It does not requite a man who is deserving of evil, and to him who is deserving of good, it gives a double portion. Having seen some definitions of justice, let's examine the role of justice in our society. Let's look at justice from what many people see as the justice or legal system in action in their lives. For a speeding ticket, the fine in Germany is up to 600 euro. You can have your license suspended for up to 3 months and lose up to 2 demerit points. For driving under the influence, the fine can be 1,500 euro, more or less. You can have your license suspended or revoked, lose 2 to 3 points, with possible jail time. For theft, a person can get 5 to 10 years or less of jail time or a fine. For murder, a person can get life in prison or less, or the death penalty in some countries. Overall, it seems pretty fair. As the offense increases in severity, so does the penalty increase.
Now let's look at it from law enforcement's point of view. Let's look at their process. The first step is to stop the crime or infraction. So, if you're speeding, the police car will chase your car and force it to stop. The second step is to find the cause of the crime or infraction. They'll look at motive. Is the driver drunk, for example? They'll look at opportunity. Was the sign showing the speed limit hidden by a tree? They'll see who the perpetrator or the driver is. They may ask you for your driver's license and see who else is in the vehicle. They may check if they see a weapon in the vehicle. The third step is to fix the cause. If the driver is under the influence of drugs, they will not allow him to continue driving. They will likely take him to the station and see what type of rehab steps can be proposed. At the fourth step, the officer will give the driver a ticket, loss of point, and all possible jail time. Then, once the penalty is paid or time served, then the person may either rejoin society, or the person may relapse into crime or further infractions, and the cycle repeats.
The process seems pretty straightforward. However, there are some issues with this process. Problems are encountered every step of the way. Let's see some examples. For step 1, in stopping the crime, we have seen cases of police brutality. For example, George Floyd died in police custody on May 25, 2020, in Minnesota, USA, as he repeated to the police, "I can't breathe." Step 2. Find the cause of the crime. Root causes of crime are often difficult to identify and deal with, so they are not always fully considered. For example, socioeconomic causes, such as poverty, psychological causes, such as mental illness, biological causes, for example, the brain of certain kinds of criminals was found to have malformations, and behavioral factors, possibly as the result of abuse. Gun policies may also be a factor. A man steals from a grocery store to feed his family. Is the problem that he is a thief, or that his family has nothing to eat? The cause is poverty. The effect is theft. But often the root cause, like poverty, is overlooked, and society just sees the theft. For repeat offenders, the cause is often that they are not welcome in the community. They face isolation, difficulty finding jobs, lodging, and education. Drug and alcohol abuse is common in prison, often occurring with mental illness. Step 3. Fix the cause. The need to improve infrastructure so that poverty and lack of affordable housing, food, healthcare, and rehab do not become so severe so as to push people into crime. The need to enhance school counseling, social work, and parental guidance to identify young people at risk proactively so that they don't turn to negative behavior. The need to improve foster care staffing and approach for youth, and pre- and post-release services for offenders. Step 4. Sentence is set and served. Here, we've seen cases of wrongful convictions. As of 2021, the Innocence Project has helped to successfully overturn over 300 convictions through DNA-based exonerations. They estimate that 2.3 to 5%, or 52,000 to 115,000 prisoners in the U.S. may be incarcerated as a result of wrongful convictions. Those who don't have good representation at trial, often the poor, and certain ethnicities, receive disproportionately more severe sentences for the same offense. Step 5. Relapse into crime. A study in 2015 showed that 45% of prisoners who were released from prison in the USA were re-imprisoned within 5 years of their release for the period from 2005 to 2010. That's nearly half of those released from prison. So clearly, we are not perfect. Our process is not perfect. So why expect the results to be perfect? Why should we be merciful? For starters, because we are not perfect. During the funeral service, we pray for the departed. Pardon every transgression which he or she has committed, whether by word or deed or thought. For there is no one who lives yet does not sin, for only you are without sin. Your righteousness is an eternal righteousness, and your word is truth. We also pray, disregarding as you are good his or her trespasses, both voluntary and involuntary, and all things done with knowledge or in ignorance. Involuntary sin. We can also sin involuntarily. For example, if we condemn an innocent person to prison or death due to our limited knowledge, biases, or errors.
Perhaps mercy can fill the gap between what human justice is and what it should be. We have seen a bit about what human justice is. We will learn about the role of mercy in another section, so let's look at what human justice should be.
There need to be consequences for committing the offense, and deterrence. But there also needs to be mercy, to have the opportunity to correct errors, on their part and on ours, as in the case of wrongful convictions, to heal in the case of mental illness, addiction, or the results of abuse, and for redemption. Having learned a bit about justice in our society, let's see where justice comes from. What is the source of justice? How do we figure out what is right or just in theory? Justice, in its broadest sense, is the principle that people receive that which they deserve, with the interpretation of what then constitutes deserving being impacted upon by numerous fields with many differing viewpoints and perspectives, including the concepts of moral correctness based on ethics, rationality, law, religion, equity, and fairness. So we have justice that is based on what people deserve, that is based on moral correctness, that is based on ethics, rationality, law, religion, equity, and fairness. The question is, which religion, ethics, rationality, law, sense of equity, and fairness provides the truth about what is just or righteous? The psalm tells us, "Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your law is truth." To guide us in the paths of righteousness, there are church laws in the form of canons and commandments, as well as moral laws described by Jesus Christ in the Beatitudes. As we climb the ladder of divine ascent, as per St. John Climacus, we draw nearer to God and truth.
We seek God. First, there's justice. We need to stop the injustice, to stop the crime. It is an immediate short-term solution. Then, there's self-control. We need to control our rage, pushing us to get even, to go beyond just stopping the injustice. This is the starting point of mercy. Then we go on to love. We show empathy, kindness. These are the elements of mercy. This is the long-term solution, leading to God. Let's see what meanings this has in our life. To help clarify this is a hymn based on the Beatitudes that Jesus taught us. Let's listen to it.
In thy kingdom remember us, O Lord, when thou comest into thy kingdom. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are they that make peace, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice, rejoice, and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Righteousness, it is the justification of the guilty man through grace and faith in Jesus Christ. Thirst and hunger for righteousness, we hunger and thirst for the justification of grace through Jesus Christ. They shall be filled, as the filling or satisfying of the body produces, first, the cessation of sense of hunger and thirst, secondly, the strengthening of the body by food. So, the filling of the soul means, first, the inward peace of the pardoned sinner, secondly, the acquisition of strength to do good given by justifying grace.
Let's summarize what we've learned. What is justice? According to Saint Isaac the Syrian, justice is the equality of the even scale, for it gives to each as he deserves. Mercy, on the other hand, is a sorrow and pity stirred up by goodness, and it compassionately inclines a man in the direction of all.
Justice in our society. There are many issues with human justice as it stands. We need to show mercy because, for starters, we are not perfect. In the prayer of the departed, we say, "There is no one who lives yet does not sin, for you are without sin. Your righteousness is an eternal righteousness, and your word is truth."
Source of justice. We may have difficulty determining what is right or just in theory. Several factors, including religion, influence the laws of a land. The psalm tells us, "Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your law is truth." As we climb the ladder of divine ascent, we approach God and truth.
Meaning, blessed are they that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. We hunger and thirst for the justification of grace through Jesus Christ. We shall be filled in the inward peace of the pardoned sinner and acquire strength to do good. Thank you for participating in this lesson.
Thank you.